What is going on, guys? It's your boy Ace, and today I'm going to teach you about the jungle, the role of a jungler, and how you can efficiently farm the jungle. Firstly, what is the jungle? The jungle in Paragon is more of a forest, but that's beside the point. It's a bit in between your lanes covered by trees. Within the jungle lie neutral camps that reward you with buffs, card XP and level experience if you kill them. There is also a neutral boss, I call him the Orb Prime boss, and when you kill him, he drops the Prime Orb, whose power can have game changing consequences, but I'll talk about that later. The jungle in Paragon is also home to 7 mysterious structures called harvesters. These harvesters are scattered around the map and can be used to mine amber for your team, which will increase your card XP when collected. So a lot to take in, but don't worry, we'll be going over these camps, harvesters and a lot more in detail. Secondly, what is a jungler? A jungler's role is simply just to kill jungle camps, right? Well, you're only half there because you should also be getting harvesters for your team, ganking enemies when possible and warding for your allies. You might also have to support your allies in holding towers or pushing towers from time to time. Let's take a look at neutral camps first. There are 4 types of camps in Paragon: white, red, blue and black. The white camp is the most abundant in Paragon and provides you with only card XP and level XP. The white camps are also the easiest to kill. There are 8 of these on the map. Next we have the red camp, 1 on each side of the jungle. The red camp also rewards you with card XP and level XP, considerably more than a white camp, and it also rewards you with a buff. This buff is in the form of a red orb, which when picked up gives you increased damage and movement speed on hit. It's quite useful early game because the extra damage will allow you to clear the jungle a lot faster, but late game it's more useful to let your carries take the buff since they're going to be doing the majority of the damage. The blue camp is the red camp's counterpart. It rewards you exactly the same as the red camp and appears twice on the map. However, it provides you with a different buff. It grants you increased mana regeneration and cooldown reduction. It's useful on hero types like casters or supports, where having this buff allows them to use their abilities more frequently. The black camp also rewards you exactly the same amount of card XP and level XP as the red and blue camp. However, there is only one black camp on the map, and so it's a lot more precious. The black buff provides you with damage over time to enemy structures. This means that when you deal damage to an enemy tower at set intervals, the black buff will cause you to deal extra damage. This is not only useful for destroying enemy towers and inhibitors, but for destroying enemy harvesters. Harvesters are really strong in the early game, and so the extra damage will help you destroy them and capture them for your own team. The Orb Prime boss, while it's not a camp, is still incredibly useful and a game changer. Often you will need assistance from your allies to kill it, and teamfights almost always break out around it. Once you have secured the Orb Prime, you can hand it into 2 locations. Either the enemy's drop off or your own drop off. Handing it into the enemy's drop off will activate your team's prime cards, while handing it into your own drop off location will respawn any of your destroyed inhibitors. Before we move on to the next steps, there are a few things you need to know about the jungle. Firstly, jungle card XP is not shared, but level XP is shared. Only the person who gets the last hit will get card XP, so if you're not jungling and taking camps, you're likely to cause your jungler to fall behind, and this is something I highly advise you don't do. Secondly, every 2 minutes on the global timer, the white camps will level up. However, while higher level camps provide more CXP and XP, it is significantly less than what you would get if you cleared the same amount of level 1 white camps. For example, to spawn a level 5 camp, you would wait until the 8-minute mark. But if you cleared 5 level 1 white camps in this time, you would have more CXP than just waiting for the camp to level up to level 5. What this does mean, however, is that if you have to cover a lane for a few minutes or go off into a team fight, the white camps are leveling up, so you will be getting a decent amount of CXP. All the other jungle camps level up as well, but in 6-minute intervals. Here is a chart that I made with the current timings for patch 28, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. Thirdly, if you die with any of the buffs, they will drop to the ground, and this will mean an enemy or ally can pick them up. The timer for the buff resets when it's dropped, so be careful and try not to give these buffs to the enemy. Now you know about the camps, let's talk harvesters. Now these structures are very important in Paragon. They're a way for you to get card points with relatively little work. All you have to do is build a harvester using a harvester key and then come back every so often to collect amber built up in them. The amber is shared globally to all of your allies and contributes to your card points. The first harvesters spawn at 3 minutes and are located here in your jungle. The second 2 harvesters spawn at 6 minutes and are located on the far right and leftmost points of the map. The final timing is at 9 minutes where the Ore Prime Harvester spawns. You want to be getting at least 4 of the 7 available harvesters for your team. Harvesters take around 6 minutes to fill up, so you want to collect them just before they fill up, as once they're full they no longer generate any more amber. Harvesters can be destroyed, so you need to protect your own and capture the enemy's harvesters where possible. Now you know what's in the jungle, it's important to know the timings. The jungle in Paragon rewards those who know their timings and are efficient with their own time. As of patch 28, the red, blue and white camps all spawn at 1 minute. What is important here is that you remember what I mentioned at the start of the video about camps leveling up and respawning. Step 2. The opening. I find the most efficient opening is doing a white camp followed by the nearest neighbouring white camp and then the red or blue buff while you're waiting for them to respawn. Remember how I said the camps spawn at every 2 minutes on the global timer? Well, if you clear a camp before 2 minutes, another one will respawn at exactly 2 minutes. This allows me to complete 5 camps around the 3 minute mark, 4 white camps and 1 red or blue camp. This kind of opening delays the harvesters, but it will put you significantly ahead. I like to take the red buff for the extra damage, so I start with the red jungle first, but this will vary depending on your hero. If you find you struggle to take all these camps, then you can do all 4 whites, back for your harvester key and then complete the red or blue buff. I like to prioritize the red jungle because the damage allows you to clear the jungle a lot faster and helps you pick up an early kill if you decide to gank. Remember to focus the bigger minions because they do the majority of the damage. Once I've returned to base, I pick up my harvester key if I didn't have one already, and then I clear the other side of the jungle. My path usually looks something like this. I start with the red jungle, taking the furthest white camp. I then rotate to the next white camp and immediately start the red. I clear the red and return to the previous white camp and then the white camp that I initially started with. I return to base to pick up my harvester key because I usually don't start with one unless you have a Beastmaster's key, then you should start with a Beastmaster's key. I rotate to the blue jungle, getting the harvester first. I then pick off the blue camp and the white camp and then the final white camp. It usually depends which camp I pick off last here, depending on if there's an opportunity to gank. Your job as a jungler is not just to jungle. You want to punish enemy heroes for overextending and support your allies when they need you. To do this, you can gank enemy heroes if they push up to your tower, and it's relatively easy to pick up a kill if you have some sort of stun ability or a root. You have to remember about wards though, because they'll take away the element of surprise. What I tend to do is if the enemy team is warded, then I'll destroy the wards and go back into the jungle, continue farming off camps, and then come back around a minute later to gank them. They have at most 2 charges on their wards, so either they're going to back for wards, which is going to cost them valuable farm, or they're gonna die. You want to try and prioritize ganking heroes with no escape like Sparrow, or heroes that are starting to get ahead. The jungle is home to powerful camps and the enemy will have no problem stealing your camps and in turn your farm if you're not careful. The jungle has no vision, so your only way of seeing what's going on is with wards. Wards provide vision to an area so that you can see if an enemy is there or not. Having wards will allow you to catch enemies stealing your camps and also prevent your allies from getting ganked. Enemies have to travel through the jungle to reach another lane unless they return to base, and so having wards will often save your allies from getting caught out. I hope you found this introduction to jungling quite useful. If you did, leave a like. I may put together a more advanced guide for those of you who are already quite familiar with Paragon, but I feel this is a good start for those just joining us. You can check out my Rampage guide which goes quite well with this jungle guide here, and until next time guys, peace.